Who's next in line for a Smackdown Live Women's Championship match? Welcome back to the ACB Wrestling Talk channel, your main source for wrestling news, topics, discussions, previews, all that kind of good stuff. I am your host, Alexis Carrillo, and one thing that I want to say about this show, and one thing we've been saying for quite some time on every single Smackdown preview, is that Smackdown is WWE's best show on cable television right now. Certainly a lot better than a Raw. But what happened last week was a little bit disappointing. I mean, having, nothing against the Big Show, but you know how I feel about these veterans coming back. Nothing against the Big Show, but he's kind of boring. And when I realized it wasn't going to be the Big Show, it wasn't going to be Cesaro, or it wasn't going to be Sheamus having that initial match, I tuned out. I pretty much stopped watching the start of Smackdown because I didn't feel like watching the Big Show. And then we go on to the main event. Now, instead of having the main event be about Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch for the Smackdown Women's Championship on the road to Evolution, this was the go-home show to Evolution. Instead of having all of that, they went with the tried and true and tired as hell match of Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. Honestly, you put this match as the main event of Smackdown when you damn well know it won't top what they did at Hell in a Cell. I tuned out again. I wasn't watching. I was on my phone, I was on computer, I always keep it on. I don't actually change the channel, but I keep it on to see what happens, to see if anything changes my mind and makes me want to pay attention. And just Smackdown Live last week was just such a big disappointment. So with that out of the way, let's get into tonight's Smackdown Live, which hopefully is a lot better. But like I said, with the Big Show and now they're really going to be concentrating on the World Cup, it's hard to imagine that. So, who's next in line for Becky Lynch and for the Smackdown Live Women's Championship? Now, we saw at Evolution she beat Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair is out of the race. She is no longer a top contender for the Smackdown Women's title, at least not for the foreseeable future. Therefore, we need to find a brand new challenger for her. Now, we saw it at the Battle Royale. It was not a SmackDown superstar who won that Battle Royal. Meaning that, that was not defined. And last night on Monday Night Raw, we found out, or they announced, that we were going to have Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch, champion versus champion, at Survivor Series. Which I gotta say, does excite me, most of all because of the match that they're going to have, the build-up, because Becky Lynch has been on fire and on point with her promos. I can't wait what kind of promo she's going to spit on Ronda Rousey, whether it be tonight, or next week, or the week after that, on the road to Survivor Series. And I get a feeling that a lot of you fans are also excited about Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch. And I get it. In ring-wise, you should be excited. But here's something that's gonna turn down your expectations. I seriously doubt that WWE will go with Becky Lynch over Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. Now, like I always say, there is always a chance. Nothing is set in stone. Everything is possible, specifically in a predetermined environment. But Ronda Rousey is today the top superstar in the women's division. The top name. That's a given. And the brass and the executives backstage see that as well, because they went with Ronda Rousey versus Nikki Bella as the main event of Evolution. So I really, really think Ronda Rousey 99 out of 100 times will go over Becky Lynch in the current setting that we have right now. But hey, it's a match to look forward to. And now we know that the Survivor Series theme is still brand versus brand. Then we go into the WWE Championship. There's a big question mark surrounding this entire title picture. Because at Crown Jewel this Friday, AJ Styles is set to defend his WWE Championship against Daniel Bryan. Or is he? There have been a lot of reports stating that Daniel Bryan has requested WWE not send him to Saudi Arabia, that he won't make the trip, that he doesn't want to make the trip. And even though he's not on the level of a John Cena in terms of power backstage, he is still a big star. And we saw last night on Monday Night Raw, John Cena was replaced by Bobby Lashley in the World Cup. Cena will not make the trip to Saudi Arabia. So we could have another case of that tonight on SmackDown Live. Now what WWE is promoting and what they're previewing is a confrontation between the two. It's going to be interesting to see what route they go with this feud. Because if Daniel Bryan does not want to go to Saudi Arabia, they have to make a move tonight. They have to take him out. They have to do something storyline-wise to take Bryan out of this match. So, we'll just have to wait and see in a few more hours, see what happens at SmackDown Live in Atlanta, Georgia, which is very close to AJ Styles' hometown, or at least in the home state, I would assume. Yes, because Gainesville, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, of course. We have more build-up for the World Cup, and we found out the brackets for the World Cup, WWE World Cup, I should say, last night on Raw. On the Raw side, we're going to have Seth Rollins versus Bobby Lashley and Dolph Ziggler versus Kurt Angle. And on the SmackDown side of things, we're going to have The Miz versus Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio. If you ask me, they kind of gave that away last week on SmackDown Live when you had the 4 participants of the World Cup have matches amongst each other. And they had previously stated that, there was going to be a Raw bracket and a SmackDown bracket. So, you can't have repeat matches at World Cup. So it was kind of a given that these were the kinds of matches we were going to get on the SmackDown side of things. On the Raw side of things, that was new information. We also have to deal with the fact that Shinsuke Nakamura, in case you didn't remember, in case they never told you, in case you had not caught him on SmackDown Live in the past few months, Shinsuke Nakamura is still our United States champion. Not that you would know that because he's barely featured. Well, here's the thing, he's going to be featured tonight on SmackDown Live, and tonight he defends his title against the Perfect 10, or is he the former Perfect 10? Who knows? His gimmick hasn't been defined as of late. But he will be defending his title against Ty Dillinger. And one thing is for certain, this match is pretty much, at least for me, and at least for storyline purposes, at least for me, this is just filler. Nakamura is going to get the win, and then he's going to be en route to challenging Seth Rollins in the champion versus champion match at Survivor Series, which, all things aside, if you put the storylines aside and you put how they've treated Nakamura and the U.S. title aside, that match just screams gold. Rollins versus Nakamura, come on, give it to me. And finally, one of the things that I dread most about WWE these days is how they do these themed matches geared towards kids. Now, we all know WWE is a PG company. Their main focus and they're mainly catering to the family audience and the kids audience, but they're gonna have a damn trick or street fight on tonight's episode of Smackdown Live, because tomorrow night is Halloween. Boo. That trick or street fight really scares people. Whoever's going to be fighting hasn't been determined yet, so, hold on to your seats, because we're going to get yet another repeat of what we had last week on Smackdown Live, where we have one mystery member of the New Day face off against one mystery member of the Bar and the Big Show. So, gotta be honest with you, not looking forward to that. If you are, leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions in the comments section below. Remember, it's all subjective. I might not be excited, but you surely can, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's all entertainment, and it all hits us in a very different way. So anyway, that's the Smackdown Live preview for tonight's episode of Smackdown Live. Make sure you tune in to the USA Network so you don't miss any of what goes down in Atlanta, Georgia tonight. If you follow wrestling news, topics, discussions, previews, all that kind of good stuff, consider subscribing. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you dislike this video, hit the dislike button. That's it for me. Till next time.